If you would do one expression that is demonstrative of what your entrepreneurial journey is like, what would it be? Okay, stay right there. Don't move. I love it. All right. Now, can you tell me a little bit why you chose that, and what would you say you're building right now? How would you describe it?
So the reason I chose that is that starting a business, you are birthing something, and you're birthing something from an idea. So you just kind of like have to like manifest it into the world and sort of like bring it about. So there is a certain kind of like, I'm putting things out there
I love
into
it.
the universe, you know. So it's not like this like constricted thing. It's like I'm giving it, I'm offering it out, you know. And then so much of it, I think many people, especially women, when they're starting a business, there's a lot of imposter syndrome, you know. Like we kind of want to feel small, we've been taught to feel small. So just like the idea, it's like feel big, feel expansive, you know, burst something, imagine. Yeah,
I love that. Being expansive, taking up space. Yeah, I feel like that's really important. Nice. Let's do some photos over here.
Okay.
I'll have you stand just right by this column right here. Yeah. Gorgeous. Let me get a couple over here. All right, beautiful. So can you tell me a little bit about what you're building yourself?
Yes. So for the past 3+ years, I've been building an age-inclusive beauty brand. And how it came about, there's sort of like a long story to that. Do you want to hear
Yes,
about
of course
it?
I want to hear it.
Sure. Okay. So I am 55. I know. It kind of sounds like, whoa. And
55 years young.
55 years young, yes. And during COVID, I lost my job. And I was in a long career that, you know, made pretty good money. And I felt that the loss of a job during a time when, you know, everything was kind of like fraying, where everyone was just kind of shutting down. And also my notions of me in the world were just being challenged. I don't have a job. I'm over 50. It felt really vulnerable. It felt really, really raw. Like, what am I in the world? And am I still relevant? Am I still beautiful? You know, and you're wrestling with things that do happen to middle-aged, post-middle-aged women, you know, like menopause, etc. And I started being aware of the language I was using toward myself.
Yeah.
You're not cool enough, you're not relevant enough, maybe you're not smart enough, you're not beautiful, you know? And I started looking at that language, because that language is sort of like, it's coming to me from the ether, from our construct, right? From the world we live in, especially around beauty. And started to looking at the beauty industry at large, and kind of like what messages does it send us, right? Especially for older women. And I was like, wait, like, it's every time I go to a department store, Sephora, everything that is targeted for my skin, it's anti-aging, everything is messages youth, right? So I started becoming really aware that beauty has become a function of youth, right? Like, I want to look younger. I want to look like a 20 years old. And it didn't really sit very well with me. You know, as 55 years old, you know, the reality, I'm not going to look like a 20 years old anymore, you know, but can I still look beautiful? Can I still feel great in my body? Can I still feel attractive and powerful and relevant? So I wanted to create a brand in this massive beauty space that makes women feel good in their skin at any age. You know, just kind of like feel good. Like, hey, I'm still attractive. You know, whether it's like whoever you're attracted to, but like people are still drawn to you.
Mm-hmm.
You can still radiate beauty. You can still care for this, you know, vessel that you inhabit, and you can still feel powerful. So that was the idea.
I love that. That's such a
Thank
meaningful like story and message.
Yes,
And, like,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, let's do a couple right here. I'll do some walking ones, and then we'll go to the next spot.
Okay.
Let's have you and this one embody kind of what you were mentioning about like being radiant and beautiful.
Okay.
And
so
confident.
Just kind of like,
Yeah.
just like, yeah.
Just embody like confidence and playing with your hair and what it feels like.
Yeah. Are you video?
I'll take pictures as you're walking. What would you say are some of your biggest challenges right now? And like, what are you working on?
I think the biggest challenge is really like awareness, and getting retail accounts, getting you know, like retail partners. Yeah.
Let's keep going a little bit over here. So how does that work? How do you go about getting retail partners?
So I think it's a lot of really like it's cold calling. It's is this okay? Like,
yeah.
So you have to put a list of stores that you think your product will be a good fit with that store.
Mm-hmm.
You have to find out who's the buyer. You don't always know.
Yeah.
You know, it's not always obvious from the website. And then you create sort of like a series of emails to just warm them up. But for the most part, people are not going to answer emails. You really have to do like the hard work and actually, you know, call the store and say, hey, here's a little bit about me. Are you interested in learning more about the brand? Here's what the brand is about. And they might just say kind of like a maybe. A lot of time it's a no. A lot of time it's like, you know, we already have enough of what your products offer. We're not looking to onboard a new brand. So if it's a no, it's a no. And if it's a maybe, because they're never going to say yes. They're never going to be like, yes, we have a shelf for you. We've been waiting, you know? So then if it's a maybe, then you try to schedule like a time to bring the product and do a demo in person if they're local. And if they're not local, you just put like a little kit together and send it to their store, and then follow up a couple of weeks after. And it is a game of numbers, to be honest with you. You're like, you just have to do the, you know, the kind of soliciting that can feel a little odd and icky for someone like me. I'm an introvert, you know, I was not trained as a salesperson, right? So all of a sudden, like, again, as a business owners, you're anywhere from the vision of the brand, the branding, supply chains, the janitor, you know, the formulator, the salesperson, the person who makes the call, the accountant, all the things. So that's something that is important if anyone, whether it's like a woman or a man, want to start their own brand, is that you're going to do things outside your comfort zone. Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone who is starting out and just trying to get outside of their comfort zone but don't know where to?
Yeah. Someone who's just starting out, just has an idea that hasn't manifested yet, but they're getting excited about, I would say do your research, you know, really do the research around what industry are you walking into? Why do you want to walk into that industry? And how is your offering message, product, service different than what's out there already. And then you kind of like got to almost reverse engineer the steps as far as like, if I want to have this, say in 12 months or in 6 months, you gotta kind of be like, okay, if I want to have a brand, a website, a product, you gotta start kind of like reverse engineer and say, what will it take to get to this place? And then that gives you actionable things as far as like what you need to do. Because if you just be like, I want to start and I'm gonna do this, you don't really know what you're aiming at. So it's good to have some sort of like a 6 month, a 9 month, a 12-month goal, so you can sort of like create action step and a roadmap to actualize what you want to get to. Yeah,
I love that. Being more actionable instead of being stuck kind of in the dreaming phase, actually having an end goal that's tangible, that you can work backwards
you gotta
from.
be like, okay, I want to, you know, even if you want to be a coach, it's still, you know, you gotta put on the websites and the branding and the idea and why, what are your offerings, what are your packages, you know, how are you gonna get customers in a way that is compelling to them, in a way that speaks to what they need, what they're looking for. So so then you can kind of like backtrack from that.
Yeah. I love it.
Because we can really get, like, a lot of people get really excited about the initial idea, because a lot of times that's the most exciting part.
Yeah.
That's when we dream and fantasize and we're in some kind of like pink cloud up above. The question is like, how do you kind of start grounding it and manifesting it into matter?
Yeah, I love it. It's very practical advice. I love that. Let's do a couple over here with these brick walls. So if I can have you put your stuff on the side. And let me fix my settings.
It doesn't get as much attention as the golf did.
Nice. So have you go a little bit further back. And we'll get you just right over there. Nice. And then in these ones, if I can actually have your back to it and then your foot kind of like lifted. Yeah. A little bit closer though. Kind of like almost like you're sitting on it. And then there we go. And you can be more on this part, so it's a little more, or that part, sorry. But I mean like on the elevated area. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. I get a couple over here.